Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvenavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshu Nam Hitartaya Tattva Bodho Vidhiyate. In the last class, we studied about how the world has come about from Ishvara. And Ishvara meaning Brahman plus Maya. Maya Sahita Brahman we call as Ishvara. So we discussed about how the potential of not understanding Brahman as Brahman exists in Brahman, which is what is called as Maya, the Shakti. And when the potential manifests, it first manifests in the subtle form and then it manifests in the gross form. That's how everything in this universe. So, and we see the gross world is what we see. All we know is the gross world. We can infer the subtle body. We can establish that through that inference. We know that there is mind, intellect, because it is that through which we are thinking. So we say the gross is a mixture, impure. So then the subtle should be pure. From pure, the impure comes. From impure, pure doesn't come. So we say this impure mixture has come from pure, and the pure should have come from the cause, the causal. And that is the Maya, the causal prapancham. So we saw how Maya, he said, is Brahmashraya Trigunatmika. Brahmashraya means that which depends on Brahman. The projected form, projected outcome depends on the substratum. The substratum is not dependent on the projection. We take the example of rope and snake, post and ghost, etc. Boulder, elephant. You can give as many as you want. Post exists without whether or not it is being projected as ghost. Snake exists whether or not it is being projected as, rope exists whether or not it is projected as snake. But snake cannot exist in this example without rope, without the substrate. Similarly, the ghost cannot exist in that example without the post, the substrate. Similarly, we say, here we are explaining that Brahman is the substratum upon which this universe is projected. And the Maya is the cause which is dependent on Brahman. Brahman is not dependent on Maya. Maya has two inherent Shakti, power. Right? So, one is the veiling power, the other is the projecting power. Avarana Vikshepa. Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti. Now, this Avarana Shakti cannot do anything to Brahman. Brahman uses the Vikshepa Shakti. We are using words here, so you have to cooperate. Brahman using in the sense Brahman has no motive to use, has no motive not to use, or to use. So in the presence of Brahman, the Maya has projected this world using the Vikshepa Shakti. Now this Avarana Shakti cannot cover Brahman, but the projected beings that come out of this Maya, you, me, all of us, the Jivas, are all under the sway of this Avarana Shakti. So that is why we do not know. None of us know. We are all lost. I am thinking Lakshmi Narayan. I'm Lakshmi Narayan. You are thinking yourself to be limited. Each one of us lost in this world. This is due to that Avarana Shakti. So this is what he is saying. Now he also said it is Maya, which is Triguna Atmika. How do we say this? Again, remember that fundamental thing that Swamiji has taught us in the book Vedanta Treatise, you should never forget, which is what? To move from the known to the unknown. All this that we are talking about is unknown. But what is known? This gross world. What do you see in this gross world? The three powers called as the power of inertia, tamas, the power of activity, action, rajas, and the power of knowledge, sattva. So, this is what we see in this world. If you are seeing this in the effect, it should have been in the cause as well. So we say Maya is Triguna Atmika. So from this three gunas only this whole universe has evolved. So first, from this potential, what would have evolved? The subtlest element. The subtlest element is space. Then air, fire, water, earth. Subtle to gross. We say SAFV. Space, air, fire, water, earth. Just to remember, you say SAFV. Space is the subtlest because it's more pervasive and very less or only one sense can contact. Sound travels in space, ear alone can contact it. No other senses can contact. Then air. It is compared to space less pervasive, but compared to the other elements more pervasive. And it can be contacted by ears and skin. Then comes fire. Fire is grosser compared to space and air. This is the first element that can be seen, and that is why fire is taken as a symbol to represent that divinity in most of the religion. There are many reasons for fire, but just giving one example, one reference. Then fire can be contacted by what? Ear, skin, eyes. 3. Then comes water. Water is less pervasive compared to these 3, but more pervasive compared to earth. And water can also be contacted apart from these 3, ear, skin and eyes, by the tongue. And then comes earth. So what is left? Nose. Now when it rains, you get the smell of the earth. So, in this order, the subtle elements has come, he says. Space, air, fire, water, earth that we talked about. We are talking at the subtle level. They have come. Now, each of these elements, which has come from Maya, has the 3 gunas. The sattva, rajas, tamas. From the sattvic aspect of space, the sense organ, again we are talking about subtle, sukshma shariram, ear has come about. Yes. Because all the 5 organs of perception are in Sanskrit called as what? Jnana Indriya. Using the sense organs, we can gather knowledge, we gain knowledge. So, here comes from space, subtle aspect. We are now talking about how the subtle aspect is evolved. We covered all this, so I'm just doing a little bit of summary. Then from the subtle aspect of air, skin, subtle aspect of fire, subtleness, sattvic, sorry, I used the wrong word, sattvic aspect, then eyes, then sattvic aspect of water, tongue, sattvic aspect of earth, nose. All these are subtle bodies. We are not talking about these gwalayas. These eyes, ears, nose that you see, eyes, ears, nose, all that you see, skin, these are all gross. We are not talking about this. We are talking about sukshma sharira. So, jnana indriyas, we already studied about sukshma sharira. Sukshma sharira, we studied that it has 19 components. What are they? 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, 5 pranas, pancha pranas, and then mind divided into 4. Mana, manas, buddhi, ahankara, chit. So these 5 organs of perception, jnana indriyas, have come from subtle elements, from each of the elements, sattvic aspect of each of the subtle elements. This total sattvic aspect of all this put together has brought about the mind, intellect, ego, and chit. Because through all this, you have knowledge. Since this is all power of knowledge, we say it is evolved from the sattvic aspect. Then comes rajasic aspect, se kya kya evolve hua. What all has come out from the rajasic aspect. So rajas means what? Power of action. So the organs of action has come from the rajasic aspect. I am not now going into each and everything, but understand. Just like how I explained for the every particular organs of perception, organs of action has also come about. If you want to study that in more detail, go to the previous lecture, listen to that on YouTube. So, slowly all has evolved. 5 organs of perception. Then the total rajasic aspect has brought about what? The pranas, the physiological functions. You understand? So from that, the total rajasic aspect of each of these elements put together, the pancha pranas has come. So now we have seen what? 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, mano, buddhi, ahankara, chit, pancha prana. 19 ho gaya. The entire subtle world has evolved from what? Sattvic and rajasic aspect of these elements, subtle elements. Now, when you observe this gross world, this universe that we are living in this universe, is it jadam or not? Not just this gross universe, this gross body also. Per se it is jadam. So it should have come evolved only from the power of inertia, tamas. Now, from power of inertia, tamas also, you cannot say directly each element produced, each of these gross elements. Because in the gross elements, you see mixture. Mixture means what? Mixture of many things. And those many things initially should have been separate by itself, then got mixed. Okay. So, Adi Shankaracharya here says, I'm saying Adi Shankaracharya, some say it's attributed to Adi Shankaracharya, this text. We don't know. It belongs to Guru Parampara. Whoever it is, to the entire Guru Parampara, we should be grateful. So, it should have evolved from the power of inertia, but not directly. It should have gone through some division and mixture should have happened. Otherwise, you would not get this gross. Because if you see the gross earth, in that gross earth, there is all other four elements also. There is little space, there is little water, there is little air, there is little fire. Then there is quite a bit of earth. This is how it is. So therefore, this pure elements must have first gone through some sort of splitting and then they must have combined. Otherwise, how is this possible? Therefore, Adi Shankaracharya says the tamasic aspect went through a process. In Sanskrit, it's called as panchikarana. It went through this process of pentamerous self-division and mutual combination. Understand? So, it has gone through some kind of self-division, each of the elements, and then they had mutual combination, and thus the gross elements have come about, and from the gross elements, this gross body has come about. That's all he says. Now, this is what we are going to study. You will wonder why is this pentamerous self-division and all that we are talking about when it comes to this gross world. That's why I said that Swamiji's point helps you a lot. You have to move from the known to the unknown. Otherwise, only the gross is known. And when you observe the gross, this is the situation. And this is how it should have come. So, it is not like you have to swallow. Oh, Guruji has said, Adi Shankaracharya has said, you have to swallow. No. There's certain logic. Exactly all these things, how it is come from Maya, what is this? When you wake up, when you see the snake, when you see the rope, there was never a snake. But now if you say there is no snake, it's madness. As far as snake is there, we are seeing the world. So it's stupidity to say there is no world. Guru knows, but yet he comes down to our level and explains. This is how it should have been possible. Therefore, all this is nothing but Ishvara. That's why I said, in Vedanta, you can have two angles of vision. When you say the whole thing is Maya and you detach, reject it, negate, that's also correct. You say, no, the whole thing is Ishvara and you assert, that's also correct. Both are correct. Through pure logic, when you analyze, you finally direct everything to Brahman and say, all this then doesn't exist, this name and form. You negate. But through the same logic, you can also see then that means all this will be what? Ishvara only. So, when we develop so much of attachment to the worldly objects, we have to use this technique and say, all this is Maya, negate. When we are developing so much of hatred for things in the world, all this is Ishvara. To our children, to our husband, wife, father, mother, friends, relatives, neighborhood, city also we get attached. We've discussed this now. We started in soccer and all. Soccer and basketball, they have teams. Manchester United. This city, that city. Same thing they do in NBA. Miami Heats, all kinds of teams are there. Now, in cricket also they brought Chennai Super Kings, Delhi Daredevils, Delhi Capitals now it's called. All kinds of city. We have attachment. Na? In the team there is nobody from that particular city. Maybe one or two fellows. And most of them are benched. Other fellows from all other cities play. But we have attachment to the city. Hey, everybody. They are using your attachment. In the bargain, you are also getting entertainment. That's a separate thing. So now, this attachment comes to city, to people, everything. Now, there you say, all this is Maya. And wherever you're getting anger, hatred, you understand all are Ishvara. Fear, it is Ishvara in another form that is trying to scare me. You understand? So, both angles you can see. Both are allowed. Both you can use. When we understand all these things, what happens is, we develop detachment with love. That's what I'm trying to say. People say, no, what is this you are saying? You will have emotions, but you will not be, attached to emotions. How is this possible? With this knowledge only it is possible. You will have emotion for every being. At the same time, you will be detached when you gain this knowledge. It is not indifference. It's not irresponsibility. You understand? You will clearly see this whole universe as nothing but divinity. On this basis only we say that this world is God. And therefore, you can say everything is God. So therefore you can say many gods. But from other angle you say, no, it's only one God, which appears to be many gods. So there is only one God. Then we say, no. There is no many gods. There is no one God also. What then? There is only God. Advaita. There is only God. If you are seeing anything other than that, go to the eye specialist. That's all. This is what great masters are saying. आई स्पेशलिस्ट के जाके ठीक करके आएंगे, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. So now we are going to study the evolution of tamasic aspect which has evolved as this universe, gross universe. That's the topic, no? The universe and Maya. You remember why we said Brahman is not the cause of the world, Ishvara is the cause. What is the difference between Brahman and Ishvara? Technically, Ishvara is nothing but Brahman plus Maya. Why this concept of Maya being brought? This you need to understand correctly. Don't swallow. Why? Why don't we say world is evolved from God? I did give reason to that last week. What is the reason? Anybody?
Swami, namaskar. Maya is like an illusion because we cannot negate the things are. We can't say that they are not existent. They exist, but basically there is illusion, and that is why we use the word Maya for that.
No. My question is, why do we bring in this concept of Ishvara, Maya, when we talk about the cause of the world? Why not we say God is the cause? Brahman is the cause.
We experience it. We experience the world, so we have to.
No, we are experiencing the world, therefore we cannot reject the world. That is okay. That is not my question. Question is, why don't we say directly that God is the cause of the universe? Brahman is the cause of the universe. Why do we say Ishvara, Maya plus Brahman is the cause?
Because probably it is beyond our perception, beyond our capability to know Brahman as such.
If we say God is the cause, that means we attribute desire to God, and
Absolutely.
God cannot have desire.
Absolutely correct. See, when you say God, what do you mean? Limitless infinity. That infinity means it is everywhere, not at all limited, paripurnam, complete. There's nothing lacking in it. When there is nothing lacking in it, why would it have any motive? We all lack something, we have motive. When it's paripurna, there is no possibility of motive. There is no possibility of, there is no motive to bring in the world or bring out the world, or no motive not to bring. You understand? Whenever we talk about complete, it has no intention to bring something out. It has no intention not to bring. So therefore, you can't directly say Brahman brought this world, then it has a motive. But at the same time, we are seeing the world. Now, when you are seeing the world, it cannot be separate from God. This also explained. There can be only one infinity. Within that one infinity, there may be many infinities, for which I explained. 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9, you can go on. And similarly backwards, minus 1, minus 3, go on. Similarly, you take even numbers, 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8. Similarly, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6, go on. But all comes under whole numbers, infinity. So there's only one infinity. And we are seeing this universe also infinity. This infinity should be part of that infinity, total. Because this infinity that we are experiencing ends when we sleep. When we sleep, there is no world, there is no mind also. So then, this must be limited, that must be the unlimited. So, from that, this is come. From that, if this is come, and if that doesn't have motive, how it should have come? Then they explain this. What is there is only Brahman. You are seeing world where there is Brahman. How? Then they bring the example of rope and snake. The qualities of the rope and the qualities of the snake matches. What are the qualities of the snake? You ask the boy who is seeing the snake. 5 feet long, 3 inches thick, black in color, coiled. What is the quality of the rope? 5 feet long, 3 inches thick, black in color, coiled. So we say the rope is misunderstood, or firstly not understood, then misunderstood as snake. Similarly, ask this world, ask the quality of the world. What are they? Eternal, all-pervading, endless, because it's made up of time, space, causation, this world. Time is eternal, space is all-pervading, causation is endless. So, eternal, all-pervading, endless. What are the qualities of that Brahman which is always there? Sat and Chit, consciousness. And endless, never ends. Consciousness never ends. So, therefore, from that, this is projected. Qualities are matching. This is how this whole theory is explained. All this is theory only. We have not proven anything here. We are not saying we are proving. Now with this theory, with this understanding which is supported by a lot of logic and reason, you continue developing detached love. Indifferent responsibility. So this is the problem. The moment we come to explaining that, we have to use the language of contradiction. That's what he means when he says udasina. When he talks about an evolved soul, udasinam. Udasinam doesn't mean he's indifferent. Udasina means that undue value is not there. Because he understands that all this is Maya. But at the same time, he will not be irresponsible. Why? Because all this is Brahman or Ishvara. So, therefore, the person who gains this theory, understands this, dwells on this, does Shravana and Manana on this, develops this detachment. And then doesn't develop fresh vasanas. And by living responsibly, exhaust the existing vasanas through this knowledge. Then becomes liberated. This is the beautiful idea, this whole idea. To make you see from a completely different angle. That's all Shastra does. Shastra doesn't give us do's and don'ts. Ultimately, it's the knowledge. Initially, we spoke, na? You, as a student, you must have these qualities. Sense control, mind control, all that is okay. But by only controlling mind, you are not going to realize or enlighten. Now, control of mind is required for you to gain this knowledge. Knowledge alone can give you liberation. Now, liberation, when we say, it's not that you are bound. Liberation is what? Knowing that I am always liberated. Knowing that I am always free. Nitya muktaha. Nirgunaha. You understand? Nirvikaraha. So, that can come only through knowledge. For that, you need little bit of sense control, mind control and all that. People think we're just controlling mind, you realize. When you keep on doing that controlling mind all the time, you'll go mad. In the sense, you'll develop more frustration. Through certain methods, people do this, sense control, mind control and all, to a certain extent, beyond a certain extent. And when they stop their sadhana, again, it comes back. Why? It is not control of mind. By controlling mind, you are giving importance to that mind and making that mind exist when it actually doesn't exist. That's why we say in Vedanta, you don't fight with mind. You don't fight with darkness. You fight with darkness, you will only lose. The shadow boxing you've seen, na? The boxers, when they train, they imagine the opponent. They train. They escape. They punch. After some time, they become tired. If you fight with the darkness, you will only lose. Darkness will eventually win. How long you can go? If there's an opponent, the match will end after some time. After all, will become tired, you will become tired. But match will end. Yeah, it will go on. So you will have to give up. Ultimately, darkness only will win. So if you fight with the thing that is evolved from ignorance, which actually doesn't exist, you will lose the battle. So in Vedanta we say, Jnanam alone can help you to get out of this samsara. Get out doesn't mean you are caught. Get out means you are already free, understanding that. For that to happen, should be calm, composed, serene, relaxed. Right now, Either a fellow is too tamasic, I will not do. He is filled with I will not do. Or he is filled with rajas, I have to do this, I have to do that. ये करना वो करना. अरे बाबा, you know, क्या यार सिर्फ 7 दिन है, 24 hours है, enough नहीं है, और चाहिए. Rajasic fellow. He is filled with I have to do. Tamasic fellow filled with I don't want to do, I will not do. Tamasic fellow. You have to relax. Understand that there is nothing to be done. There is only thing to be realized, known. But to get to that quietude, you need to practice yoga. All 4 yogas. Hatha yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Otherwise you won't become quiet. Through hatha, wake up the body. Then through karma, bhakti, jnana, quieten the mind, change the quality of the mind, change the direction. Mind becomes relatively calm. At that time, can think, reflect more. So through karma, bhakti, you become more purified and single-pointed. And then you give knowledge. That is the Shravana. Then you reflect. When you reflect, then you begin to see your perception changes. You understand, Hare Babre? I have never been bound. Slowly that knowledge, understanding will come. This is how the whole teaching is taking us. You understand? So now we have to study how the tamasic aspects, say, gross universe evolved. We'll see that now. Let me share the screen. Yetesham Panchatattvanam madhye tamasam panchīkrita panchatattváni bhavanti panchīkaranam katamiti chet etesham panchamahabhutanam tamasamshas swarupam ekam bhutam dvida vibhajya ekam pritak tushnim vyavasthapya paramartham Chaturdha vibhajya swardhamadnyeshu ardeshu swabhagat chatushtayah sayojanam karyam tada panchikaranam bhavati etebhyah panchikrita panchamahabhutebhyah stula shariram bhavati. From the tamas aspect of these 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, from these 5 elements are born. The gross 5 elements are born. If it is asked how this Panchikarana takes place, it is as follows. The tamasa aspect of each of the 5 elements divides into 2 equal parts. One half of each remains intact. The other half of each gets divided into 4 equal parts. To the intact half of one element, 1/8 portion from each of the other elements gets joined. Then Panchikarana is complete. From these 5 grossified elements, the gross body is formed. You say, what is all this? I don't understand. So, this, you can see the screen. Evolution of elements. First space, air, fire, water, earth. Then ears all come from the sattvic aspect. Ear from space, skin from air. Then fire, say, eyes, tongue from water, nose from earth. We saw all this. Then rajas, organ of speech, hands, legs, organ of excretion, genital organ, 5 pranas, 5 mind and 5 pranas respectively from sattvic and rajasic. Now we are discussing about what? The tamasic aspects of the elements undergo a process of self-division, mutual combination known as panchi karana. So there what happens? You see here. First, what is there? First, there is only pure elements, nothing else. Right? So first the pure element is completely intact. Then it gets into two halves. Then the two halves splits. First half remains intact. The second half splits into four equal parts, which is what? 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. Like this it happens. So the gross space comes, gross air comes, gross fire comes, gross water comes, gross earth comes. Do you understand from the screen what he is saying? This is all he is saying. When you read this, it looks very complicated. But you can see when you take the earth and see, majority portion is earth. But it has the other four also. So 1/8 of space, 1/8 of fire, air, 1/8 of fire, 1/8 of water. All these are there, plus majority portion of earth. That is the gross earth. Similarly, water, fire, air and space. That's all he's saying. So first, the subtle elements from its purest form goes through divisions. Then combination. This is called pentamerous self-division and mutual combination. That's all he's saying. You understand? So then the gross space, gross air, gross fire, gross water, gross earth comes. This is the stula prapancham, this gross universe. Then from the mixture of these gross elements come the gross body. That's all he's going to say. Let's continue. Evam pinda brahmandayoraikyam sambhutam. So, thus, there is identity between the microcosm and the macrocosm. This identity is to be understood. See, in Tamil also they say, Andathil ullade, Pindathil ullade, Pindathil ullade, Andathil ullade. Means what? This microcosm and macrocosm now looks different. We are looking finite. Macrocosm is looking huge. So there is a topic in Vedanta treatise book. Swamiji nicely has given it. It is actually by, it is explained by Swamiji very nicely. It is also given by Swami Ramtita initially. It's called Finite is Infinite. We see the seed, it is finite, it is appearing finite. But from the seed, tree comes. And tree produces innumerable seeds. From the innumerable seeds, innumerable trees comes, which produces so many more seeds. So what appeared to you as finite is actually infinite. This identity needs to be understood. By whom? Who should understand this identity? Huh? The microcosm who is part of the whole. And how he should understand or she should understand, he or she should understand that I who appear as part of the whole is in essence what? Whole. WHOLE. That's why whenever we conclude the class, we chant that invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam. This is also Purnam. It's also Purnam. Thus, there is identity between the microcosm and the macrocosm. The part is never separate from the whole. The whole cannot be whole without the part. Now, out of ignorance, We identify, we think ourselves to be part. As you think, so shall you become. You are remaining the part, and part is tormented. When the part identifies through this knowledge, reclaims the whole, WHOLE, the whole HOLE which was there before closes. That's all. Instantly gets closed. Once the part realizes itself to be the whole, the HOLE whole which was there before completely dissolves, closes. Thereafter, there is only Paripurna. This should not be understood as, our life would have been filled with a lot of wealth, a lot of name, fame. Same thing. Sometimes maybe worse. It depends on so many factors. But you are Paripurna from within. So, this is what he's saying. This identity between microcosm and macrocosm. You take a microcosm and analyze. You, me, all of us, what? The gross body, subtle body, then causal body, ignorance, then there is consciousness. Each and every being, it's like this. Then this whole microcosm is also consciousness. The macrocosm is also that. Therefore, there is identity. It's not different. Our subtle body is made up of total subtle elements. And this gross body is made up of total gross elements. Where is the difference? There is no difference. It depends where you are seeing it from. That's all. Then talk about the difference also. You can see the unity also. So Rajasic fellow sees diversity in unity. Sattvic fellow sees unity in diversity. Tamasic fellow sleeping. Don't wake him up. He's in deep sleep, totally lost. So this identity is to be realized. The identity between microcosm and the macrocosm. Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva and Jagat. It's a Jiva and Jagat or Jiva and Ishvara. Whichever way you want. Nothing wrong. That is the whole equation finally in Advaita. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva na Panaha. Jivan is actually the Brahman only, nothing else. So once this Jiva understands, from within is free, she is free. From within there is no bondage. Then the person starts freely living. That's why Vedanta says, only when you understand this identity, you begin to live. People say, why do I don't want moksha, Vishana? Why are you saying I should aspire for moksha? Why are you saying you should have the goal of liberation, moksha? You may not understand what you're asking for that only. Because then a lot of people say, what is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to live. That's it. You live. If you live peacefully, you will make others also live peacefully. If you are disturbed, you will disturb everybody. You are mentally disturbed. You cannot keep quiet. So what do? Chalo, main phone karke dekh. Or we are little decent. We are cultured people. So what do? Message bhejenge. Hari Om. Are you awake? You cannot keep quiet. So, and that fellow is also disturbed. So he says, yes. Then they call. First, the discussion will be all Tattva Bodha and all that. Then slowly it will go to politics. then it will go to something else. That's how it is. Everywhere it's like this. Even I've seen in, I come from Chennai during certain seasons like Margari and Adi and all that, in many temples, they play songs early morning. Nowadays, there is a rule, I think you should not use loudspeaker, you should only use certain things. So, a little restricted they use, but limited sound. Otherwise, my God, early morning, you like or not, you have to wake up. And first, it will start with all, Bhagavan song. Then slowly, you will see, short of disco song. It comes like that. Because we are disturbed. That's why once you realize this identity, you become calm. You understand? Once you become calm mentally, you begin to live peacefully and make everybody live peacefully. Firstly, you will live. Then you will contribute for others living also. You will be an asset to the universe, not a liability. This is why he says, you should know this identity. And knowing this identity is moksha. Moksha, otherwise, our own idea moksha means. We'll call all kinds of things moksha. Some people eat chocolate and then they're doing. What are you experiencing? Moksha. I don't know. Some people make it. I don't know whether there's already a chocolate brand called Moksha. See, the problem is many business people attend our classes. They get ideas. And they may name another chocolate brand as Moksha. But from now on, if you name something like this, you better give me some royalty. Otherwise, I'll sue you. Not really, you do whatever you want. So what I'm saying is, we have our own idea of moksha. Oh, I am not interested in moksha diksha. I just want to learn how to live. And Baba, you begin to live only when you attain this moksha. Or only to the extent you really understand this. Otherwise what you will do, you will be saying, I am this limited individual, I am the limited individual. The moment you limit yourself, this limited world comes. It's inseparable. It's not possible. When you see the whole, WHOLE, then everything merges and everything will be whole. One. When you see you as HOLE, separate, that means everything has become separate. The separateness comes. When that separateness comes, you cannot be peaceful. You'll be agitated. That fellow, he will take my thing. He may take. Even if he doesn't take, this fellow will teach him. All these thoughts will come. Because you're separate now. So I have to protect myself. So I have to gain this, I have to gain that. And even in the process, if I have to deny people, I will. All this nonsense starts. You can't live. You won't live. You won't be peaceful. You won't let anybody live. That's why the Upanishad says, Ihacheda veti data satyamasti, nachediha veti mahati vinashti, bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha, pretyasma loka dhamrta bhavanti. You begin to live when you understand this identity between the microcosm and the macrocosm. The microcosm is what? Consciousness plus vasanas, the causal body, plus subtle body, plus gross body. Right. This is the microcosm. What is the universe? Consciousness, or Ishvara you say, plus total causal bodies, plus total subtle bodies, plus total gross bodies. That's all. There you use the word total, here you use the word individual. But eventually all are same. Jiva, Ishvara is one. That's what he's saying. Thus, he says, there is identity, oneness between the microcosm and the macrocosm. Evam pinda brahmando yoroi kyam sambhutam. This identity is established through this understanding, through this knowledge. And in whomsoever this is well established, that fellow, that person, that being alone lives life. Everybody else चलता है. कैसे है भाई? चलता है. गाड़ी चलता है. That's how you understand. This is what he beautifully explains. We'll continue next week. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.